What's happening, everyone? Welcome back and thank you for stopping in. Today we have an overview to do for you guys, and this is going to be a very positive overview of this knife. It's kind of a short term review, but we're not going to classify the video as that. It's going to be an overview, but I could basically do a short term review on this guy. And it is a phenomenal knife. And before we get started, if you like content like this, knives, EDC gear, all of that sort of thing, and you see the subscribe button below the video, that means you are not subscribed. Do me a favor and hit that button. I'd love to have you here. And before you guys head out, give the video a thumbs up. And I know it's asking a lot, but the more comments you guys leave, the better it is for the video. So I welcome you guys to put anything that you would like down in the comments. I don't care what it is. You are more than welcome to put whatever your little heart desires down in them comments. Questions, statements, I don't care what it is. Put something down there. So we'll get started on this bad boy. This was one of the first knives that I truly dedicated myself to testing it and seeing how it would hold up. Now, for those of you who don't know, I'm a carpenter by trade. I did finished carpentry for many years. I did private carpentry work before then with some commercial mixed in. Now I'm back in the private field. So I've done a lot of construction and carpentry work over the years, and I have cut many things with many knives, and I have the ability to actually, not everyone who buys knives, has a purpose like I may for the knife. And that's one thing I wanted to go over while going over this knife here. This is the CJRB Ruffian. This is one of their newer models. It's not, very new, but it came out within the last couple of months. And it is a Dirk Pinkerton design, as you can see there, using Artisan's proprietary AR-RPM 9 steel. And that was the other thing I wanted to really put to the test. I've had quite a bit of the RPM 9 steel from CJRB and Artisan. As far as I can tell, it is a very good steel for the price you are paying. It's very good. Now, I wanted to go over the way I look at a knife first and foremost. I know some content creators and some people probably view the knife as just an EDC knife, something you can take with you and use throughout the day on your various tasks, right? Well, I view them that way as well, but first and foremost, I look at a knife and hold a knife, view the knife as a work knife. Is it going to do well in a work environment? And you could be in retail or something and you're always cutting boxes, you're cutting, this, that, and the third, straps. You might work at a grocery store and you're always cutting into pallets of groceries and, it doesn't matter. You don't have to be a carpenter or a tradesman or anything like that. People with grocery store jobs, retail store, clothing, it doesn't matter. Gas station, people with those types of jobs, believe it or not, may end up doing a lot of cutting. So that's what I try to bring here first and foremost. And typically, depending on the size, depending on the weight, a few different aspects could determine that it's not a good EDC. But typically, if a knife is going to be a good work knife, if it is a good work knife, it's going to be a good EDC knife. If it can hold up under the pressures of work related cutting, it will certainly hold up and do well under basic day-to-day tasks, cutting open a package, breaking down cardboard, opening up your kids' toys, simple things like that. If it's a good work knife, it's going to do well at your EDC needs. Now, there are some things that, would exit out of it being a good EDC, but even then, like, enter the AD10. Some people might not think that's a good EDC knife. I do. It might be a little bigger, it might be a little heavier, but it's still a great EDC knife in my opinion. I have no problem carrying a knife that heavy or that big, and it's not that it's not that crazy. But one thing I've determined about this knife is that it is a great EDC knife, and it's an even better work knife. These can be had for like 50, 60 bucks, somewhere around in there. Depending on where you go, when you look, it's around that price, which is a great, great price. You're getting this awesome Wharncliffe blade, a nice straight edge to a nice piercing tip. And one thing I love about this, if the blade is straight right, look how the angle of the knife and the handle of the knife, it's geared to be a work knife. And Dirk knew what he was doing when he made this knife, I believe. It's very basic. You don't have any premium materials in here. You don't have anything crazy. You have, I think it's G10 handles. You have a cool little anodized pivot there, collar around the pivot. You have a deep carry clip with just a tiny bit sticking out here. You have pretty minimal hardware, 2 body screws. You do have 2 clip screws, but they are countersunk. And there's no protrusion, so it's completely smooth under there. And then you have your pivot there. This is geared to be a work knife, an EDC knife, a user knife. The AR RPM 9 has held up well. You can see I've used and abused this guy, and the finish has held up extremely well. This wasn't just from cutting a piece of paper or whatever. This was doing dumb stuff with it, and it's still coming out the other side just ready to go for some more. Easy to open with the thumb, easy to open with the reverse flick. You have that awesome elongated hole there, and it's just anywhere on that hole you can open this guy up. The closer you get to the pivot, the stronger it's going to be. Great for thumb and reverse flicks. It's a very minimal package. You'll see here you're getting a nice 3-inch cutting edge with 3 1/4 to the scale. And then to the very tip of the knife, you're at like 7 3/16, so just shy of 7 1/4. Go ahead and throw it up here against the Paramilitary 2, and the Paramilitary 2 is going to be quite a bit bigger. We'll throw it up against the new Civivi Sokoki, very popular knife. We will go ahead and throw it up against one of its brothers, the Artisan Cutlery Ahab. We'll match them pivot to pivot. Oh, wait, there's no pivot. Hidden pivot on the Ahab. Awesome, awesome feature. Why don't we get everything in frame? I'm not even paying attention. A little smaller than both, but the one thing about the Ruffian that I just absolutely love is it's not huge, but even with bigger hands, it just fits perfectly. It's got a nice width to it, It's got a knife. It's got just the right amount of length to it, and then the way that blade just, it's perfect for a user knife. If you are looking for something that is not expensive, something you can take with you to work, something that's going to hold up, still locks up great. It's starting to work itself over there a little bit. It's probably at 70% now at this point. But I don't see any issue with that. There's absolutely no blade play any which way. Still locked up solid. And the thing about this is, if you don't have a ton of knives, if you use this every day for, say, a year or whatever, and you got to go out and get a new one, no big deal. They're only 50, 60 bucks. And there's plenty of flavors, I think, of this knife. There's a couple at least. So, I mean, it's just a great user knife. Absolutely love it. It's lightweight. We'll check it here on the scale for you guys. So you're coming at like 3.1, 3.2, and that's perfect. You know, you got your 3 and 3/16 inch blade, and that's pretty much your weight. You got like 3.1 on your weight. So it's just absolutely perfect. And we're back. The things that I would normally nitpick a knife on, I can't do that with this knife, because all the things that I would typically nitpick on a knife that is done very well, you know, there's usually one thing or maybe two very nitpicky things that you would change or add, but the clip is done very well, very simple. It does not get in the way of your comfort there. The pass through to the liner is perfect. The liner is easy to manipulate. It's easy to get to. Very buttery when you're pushing on it. It's not uncomfortable. It's pretty comfortable for a thinner liner. It locks up great. It's comfortable. You know, it's got the AR RPM9 steel, G10 handles. Just absolutely love it. You have jimping halfway, 3/4 of the way of your straight spine there, and it just works perfect. This whole area is jimped all the way down to there, and it locks you in. You can get a lot of various cuts done. It's just, you can get right up on the tip if you need to. Just, it's so great that I may end up with another one. I almost wish they would put like a premium Ruffian out, even in like, maybe not a premium one, but even like, let's say S35 or S30, and give us some like titanium, something like that. I mean, you know, and keep it around $100 or something. That would just be awesome. Keep it a liner lock, but just give us some upgraded handles and upgrade the steel a little bit. Hell, I wouldn't even care if they left the ARPM9 alone. Why don't you give us an upgrade on the scales? And I mean, and these work perfect for, you know, if this gets all dirty and mucked up, it's gonna be fine. You can clean it right out. Scratches and whatnot, dings on it aren't gonna show up that badly, just because of the type of material it is. And mine has held up extremely well. Getting smashed into, getting ran into, you know, dropping it, getting mixed in with other tools, very dusty and dirty environments. Just cannot say enough good things about this little knife here. And usually I like CJRB and Artisan. Usually most of their models just don't click with me. Now I have a couple, and there's a couple I really like. The Ahab is one. The Ruffian here is another. I mean, they have a couple that I really like. The Feldspar is good. The Scoria. But I don't have as many of them as I do some other companies. Some of their designs just don't speak to me. But the couple that do are very, very well done as far as work and EDC purposes. Now, the Ahab is newer to me, so I can't say the same things about that as I can the Scoria, the Ruffian, the Feldspar. Those are proven to me and do very well, have done very well. But this is just a phenomenal little EDC and work knife. The action is good. Who cares about the sounds if you're just looking for a work knife? But the action is perfect. And like I said, this thing is locked up like a bank vault. Nice and smooth, nice and broke in. Absolutely love this thing. Should we cut something with it? No edits, guys. No edits, baby. This is the real deal. And if we screw up, it stays on. This thing is not doing so hot. There, it looked good. I think that's the definition of needing a stropping, huh? I mean, it's still got a good working edge. It still works. Yeah. I might have to give this a little sharpeny. But see, that's the other thing, guys. Sometimes I like to just leave them alone for content purposes, because some people might not plan on sharpening their knives, and you know, when it's dull and all messed up, they'll throw it away and get a new one. So I'd like to have a majority of knives like this, especially where I go with a 3 to 5 month short-term review, and then do like a long-term review at like a year, and then, you know, we can go from there, but and show how the factory edge held up over that time. Now, yeah, it wouldn't be every day carrying it, you know, but it would be a dedicated, I carried it often throughout the week, used it a ton, you know, that type of review. And you can get, you know, when you cut a ton of stuff every week, you get a good feel for what's going to hold up, what's not going to hold up, what works, what doesn't. So being in the carpentry field has really allowed me to, you know, see how things will hold up and how things won't hold up. And I have a video on that coming. Some knives that just aren't cut out for that type of stuff, you know, work and EDC probably, but work definitely not. But that'll wrap it up, guys. that is the CJRB Ruffian. A great little EDC knife, great little work knife. Absolutely love this little thing. That'll do it, guys. I hope somebody got something out of that. Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think. Give the video a thumbs up. And if you're still here and you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button down there. Otherwise, guys, have a good night. Have a safe night. And I will catch you on the next one.